One of the most profound teachings in spiritual philosophy is the practice of non-reactivity, the conscious choice to pause, observe, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively when confronted with conflict or accusation. Paramahansa Yogananda, the influential spiritual teacher who brought yoga and meditation to the West, emphasized this principle throughout his teachings. The essence of this wisdom lies in understanding that our automatic reactions often originate from ego, conditioning, and emotional defensiveness rather than from our highest wisdom and truth. Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, give me a like, comment below about your thought and hit subscribe button so you don't miss any video inspired by Yogananda's teaching. Thank you very much. When someone accuses us of being wrong, or when we find ourselves in disagreement with another person, the human tendency is to defend ourselves immediately. Our mind races to justify our position, our voice may rise in tone, and our emotional body becomes activated. We feel the need to prove ourselves right, to protect our image, and to establish our superiority or correctness. This reactive pattern is so deeply ingrained in human consciousness that most people never question it. They simply accept it as normal behavior. Yet Yogananda and many other wisdom teachers suggest that this automatic reactivity is precisely what keeps us trapped in cycles of conflict, misunderstanding, and spiritual stagnation. The teaching to stop reacting when someone says you are wrong is not a counsel of weakness or capitulation. Rather, it represents a profound act of inner strength and spiritual maturity. When you stop reacting, you create space, a sacred pause between the trigger and your response. In that space lies freedom. You are no longer controlled by the situation or by the other person's words. Instead, you become the observer of your own mind and emotions. This shift in consciousness is transformative. Consider the mechanics of reactivity. When someone tells you that you are wrong, several things happen in rapid succession within your consciousness. First, the ego feels threatened. The ego, which Yogananda taught is the false sense of separate identity, immediately mobilizes its defense mechanisms. It searches for evidence of your rightness, for ways to discredit the other person's perspective, and for justifications for your actions or beliefs. Your nervous system shifts into a state of activation. Your body may tense, your breathing may become shallow, and your mind becomes narrowly focused on defending its position. In this state, you are operating from a lower level of consciousness, one dominated by fear, pride, and the illusion of separation. When you stop reacting, however, something profound occurs. By consciously choosing not to defend yourself immediately, you signal to your nervous system that there is no genuine threat. You are not in physical danger. Your survival is not at stake. Someone simply has a different perspective or perception than you do. This recognition allows your body to relax and your mind to expand. You gain access to higher faculties, intuition, wisdom, compassion, and clarity. From this elevated state of consciousness, you can see the situation with greater objectivity. You can recognize what is true in what the other person is saying, without needing to reject your own validity. One of the most liberating aspects of this teaching is that stopping your reactive impulse does not require you to agree that you are wrong. It simply means you cease the automatic defensive maneuver. You can acknowledge the other person's perspective with curiosity rather than defensiveness. You can recognize that from their vantage point, with their experiences and conditioning, their perception makes sense to them. This recognition does not diminish your own truth. Rather, it expands your understanding to include multiple perspectives simultaneously. Yogananda taught that attachment to being right is one of the primary obstacles to spiritual growth. This attachment stems from the ego's need to maintain a particular self-image and to feel superior or secure through the validation of being correct. The spiritual aspirant learns to release this attachment gradually. They discover that their true nature is not dependent on whether they are right or wrong in any particular situation. Their worth, their essence, their divine nature remains constant and unaffected by external judgments or disagreements. The practice of stopping reaction also serves another crucial function. It prevents the creation of negative karma and perpetuates cycles of healing rather than harm. When you react defensively to an accusation, you typically escalate the conflict. Your defensiveness may trigger the other person's defensiveness in turn. Words may become harsher, feelings become more hurt, and the distance between you grows wider. This exchange creates impressions in consciousness, both yours and the other person's, that persist and influence future interactions. By consciously stopping your reactive impulse, you interrupt this cycle. You do not add fuel to the fire of conflict. Instead, you model a different way of being, and you create the possibility for genuine communication and understanding. How does one actually practice this teaching? The first step is awareness. You must notice when you are beginning to react. This requires developing what Yogananda called witness consciousness, the ability to observe your own mind and emotions without being completely identified with them. When you feel the impulse to defend yourself rising, when you notice your body tensing or your voice becoming louder, pause. Take a conscious breath. Remind yourself that you are not your defensiveness. You are the awareness that is observing this defensiveness. The second step is to create space before responding. This might mean literally stepping away from the conversation for a few minutes. It might mean taking several deep, conscious breaths before speaking. It might mean sitting quietly for a moment and allowing your nervous system to settle. This pause is incredibly powerful because it breaks the automatic pattern. Instead of reaction flowing seamlessly from trigger, your conscious choice enters the process. The third step is to respond rather than react. A response emerges from reflection and consideration, whereas a reaction emerges from habit and emotional reflex. When you are ready to speak, you might begin by acknowledging what the other person has said. You might say something like, "I understand you see it that way," or, "I can see how you might have that perception." This acknowledgement does not necessarily mean you agree, but it demonstrates that you have heard them and that you are not dismissing their experience. You might then ask clarifying questions. Instead of defending your position immediately, you might inquire, "Help me understand what led you to that conclusion," or, "What specifically made you feel that I was wrong?" These questions often reveal important information. They show the other person that you are genuinely interested in understanding rather than simply waiting for your turn to argue. Many times, when someone feels truly heard and understood, their defensiveness naturally reduces, and genuine dialogue becomes possible. Interestingly, there is profound wisdom in the teaching even when you truly are wrong. If you stop reacting and genuinely listen to the other person, you create the space to recognize your error clearly and without the distortion that defensiveness creates. Rather than defending a position that does not serve you, you can acknowledge the truth in what they are saying and learn from it. This requires humility, but humility is one of the greatest spiritual qualities. It is not weakness, it is strength. The person who can acknowledge error, who can learn and grow, is far more powerful than the person who must always be right. Yogananda emphasized that the spiritual path involves transcending the ego's endless games and survival strategies. One of the most insidious of these games is the need to be right. It masquerades as the pursuit of truth, but it is actually the ego's attempt to maintain its sense of importance and control. The person who has truly awakened spiritually has moved beyond this need. They can engage in discussions and even disagreements, but they are no longer attached to the outcome. They are interested in truth, not in being right. The practice of stopping reaction also cultivates equanimity, one of the highest spiritual virtues. Equanimity is the ability to remain balanced and peaceful regardless of external circumstances. It is not indifference or apathy. Rather, it is a quality of inner stability that allows you to engage fully with life while remaining unshaken by its ups and downs. When you can stop reacting when someone tells you that you are wrong, you are cultivating this precious quality. You are training your consciousness to remain stable even when your ego is being challenged. Over time, as you practice this teaching, something remarkable happens. You become less invested in defending your image and more invested in genuine understanding and connection. You discover that people respond differently to you when you are not defensive. They become less defensive themselves. They become more willing to listen to your perspective when they feel that you have genuinely heard theirs. Relationships deepen. Conflicts resolve more easily. Your inner peace increases because you are no longer depleting your energy in endless defense of your rightness. Furthermore, this practice opens the door to genuine self-reflection. When you stop immediately defending yourself, you create the possibility of actually examining whether there is truth in what the other person is saying. Sometimes there is, sometimes there is not. But in either case, the honest inquiry is valuable. You learn about yourself. You learn how others perceive you. You identify areas where you may have been unconscious or unskilled. This honest self-examination is the foundation of genuine growth and evolution. The teaching to stop reacting when told you are wrong is ultimately an invitation to freedom. It is an invitation to step out of the automatic patterns that keep consciousness contracted and limited. It is an invitation to remember that you are far more than your need to be right, your desire to be validated, or your fear of being judged. You are consciousness itself, infinite, unchanging, and untouched by the endless dramas of the ego's pursuit of superiority. As you embrace this teaching, you discover a paradox. By releasing your need to prove yourself right, you actually become more genuinely powerful and effective in the world. You make better decisions because your thinking is not clouded by defensiveness. You build stronger relationships because people trust someone who can listen and acknowledge their perspective. You experience greater peace because you are not constantly at war within yourself and with others. You open yourself to genuine learning and growth because you are no longer locked into the position that you already know everything. The journey toward non-reactivity is not instantaneous. It requires consistent practice and patience with yourself. There will be moments when you fall back into reactive patterns despite your intention to remain conscious. When this happens, the teaching is to simply begin again. Do not react to your reactivity. Do not judge yourself harshly for being human. Simply notice, learn, and return to the practice. With time and sincerity, the capacity to pause, breathe, and respond consciously becomes increasingly natural. Your nervous system actually rewires itself. Your default setting shifts from reactivity to responsiveness. In this shift lies the essence of spiritual transformation. You are no longer controlled by circumstances, other people's opinions, or your own habitual patterns. You become the conscious author of your responses. You align yourself with wisdom, with truth, and with the highest possibilities within yourself. And in doing so, you discover that you were never wrong about the fundamental truth of who you are. You were simply expressing it through the distortions of ego and reactivity. The teaching to stop reacting when told you are wrong is thus a teaching in freedom, in truth, and in the genuine development of human consciousness.